Hi and welcome to another episode here on the channel. Today we're gonna go through the latest news and in terms of finance, and hopefully we can learn something interesting here and move forward together. And let's get straight down to it. The biggest news here who dropped like yesterday and continuing to be the talking point of today is the tariff situation escalating a bit. USA has now slapped 25% tariffs on cars from all over the world going into the US. So this means that all the Toyotas and the Volkswagens and the Kias and the Hyundais, the Volvos, etc. are going to be a bit more expensive for the US consumer. They want to push other companies to produce more inside of the USA to build a strong base of manufacturing job. That is the plan with the tariffs. We will see if the USA succeeds. Anyway, short term this will make the market a bit sour. It will not be this global trade kind of relationship like it was anymore. So for a while, as long as US are doing this trade, pushing the trade tariffs, we will see some interesting effects, so to speak. So the tariff is basically an extra tax on produced things in this circumstance, a car. So if the car was $10,000 after 25% tariffs, it's $12,500. So we don't have to make it more complicated than that. Obviously, the manufacturers of the cars can put the whole tariff cost on the consumer, the end consumer, meaning the car will be more expensive when it enters USA. But also, they can say, oh, we want to move production into the USA. They can choose to keep the prices and take the loss themselves of the tariff. So we can't be too sure what they are doing. To make the tariff situation having the long-term effects that the Trump administration wants, they probably need a couple of years with the tariffs. And basically they probably need to win the next election also to really have companies move their manufacturing inside USA. We have seen Hyundai trying to build a new steel manufacturing in USA now. So some companies are continuing to build out inside the US, but to have that situation really accelerating, we probably need even more years with the Trump or the Republicans pushing the tariff agenda. But there are some big risks with a production downturn in the world as a whole if the global trade gets like a knock-on effect on the global trade with the tariff. And if US do tariff on other countries, they might do the same back, and we just get higher prices everywhere, and it spurs inflation, and the little guy, he or she will have less choices, more expensive choices. Maybe just a certain type of cars will be made, etc. And the cars that we can afford might not be the same quality. Before, US companies had to compete with Toyota, for example, to win the customers. Now they might not have as a good product, but they will be tariffed out of competition. So that might hurt the end consumer. Who knows what will happen? But I'm trying to be objective here. We need to give the elected administration of the USA a chance to push their tariff agenda, to bring back manufacturing, and maybe they're doing the right thing. Most economic spokespersons are not thinking about this as something positive at the moment, but in the long term, maybe it will be. We know that the USA has they are very depending on other countries manufacturing parts to their, for example, cars or military equipment, etc. So they want to be more self-sustaining, so that it's a push for that. So to save jobs inside of USA. So we will see if it works out for them. It's a new world we are in. It's me first, the national pushing of nationalism, etc. So it's USA first for USA and Europe first for Europe, etc. So we will see. Anyway, a knock-on effect from this is Ferrari already raised prices by 10% on some of their models. So this is already hitting the market, and even if USA put the tariffs on, the price increases can be also in Europe, in Australia, in Africa, etc. Because in the end of the day, the company need a specific margin, a specific cash flow, and they can do to reach that cash flow. They can increase prices actually at other places, even though the tariffs are inside the USA. So they can still keep the same prices in USA and put the cost as somebody else. So we will see if it's most of the American consumer who get hurt, or how the companies are doing this. Anyway, in short term, this will not be super positive for the marketplace, but long term, I'm not super worried. Let's just see how this thing continues to evolve, and try to stay calm, objective, etc. Don't get swept away by all the drama. We can also say that we see here that Germany slams Trump's 25% auto tariffs as bad news for US, EU and global trade. So, I mean, we can already see some backlash here in terms of the partnership between countries, and that's not very good for economic transactions. That can affect the stock market like the coming 1-2 years. So you have to keep that in mind when you do your evaluations, when you're picking stocks, etc. So you have to readjust. For example, if you are investing in auto stocks, what does this mean, etc. Maybe some American companies who just sell inside of USA would do better, for example. Even though I can say that already during 2024, a lot of manufacturers inside of the USA were getting very hot on the stock market even before the election. So that is important to know. We can also see some other news here. H&M clothing company posts weaker than expected fiscal first quarter. I told you here in another video that I expect some weakness in maybe that type of companies, so I'm not super surprised. I told you that FedEx had some weaker earnings, and for example, H&M is a type of company who is affected by them. So yeah. We also see shares of Asia automakers fall as Trump announces 25% tariffs. So this is obviously, the Hyundais, the Kia, the Toyotas, etc., the Mitsubishis. So a lot of cars are getting hit here. Yeah. So that's like the big on the tariff situation. I don't find any more news that is like very... Oh, here we have something. Alibaba launches new open source AI model for cost-effective AI agents. So this has really been in the talks like the latest month. The China pushing in the AI race. They want to push the open source model of AI, specific more the LLMs, the large language models. This is the ChatGPTs, the Geminis, etc. So the competition are getting heated between USA and China, and they are trying to make the AI more cheap. They want to outcompete USA, like they did with manufacturing. So this race is really intense, and it's interesting with everything happening. Obviously, you have heard the DeepSeek, and their AI model, who were in some terms doing as good as ChatGPT, but they were just much cheaper, etc. And now we have Alibaba launch this new open source AI model. Sometimes I heard that, oh, it's just China doing the open source AI models, and I think many analysts are forgetting that USA's biggest, I think, at least most users, Llama, which Meta provides on Facebook and other apps, are doing the open source also. So open source are not something exclusive to China. It seems sometimes that people think that, but we have open source models in USA also that are very successful. They are saying here that amid China's AI fervor, accelerated by DeepSeek, Alibaba and other generative AI competitors have been releasing new cost-effective models and products at an unprecedented pace. So this is really keeping up, getting heated, the whole competition around AI. So this is like something that other countries also need to step in. I mean, for example, Europe can't be left in the dust here. Before I end this video, I'm just gonna see here if we have something more interesting. We have the US seeks to control investment in Ukraine, squeezing out Europe. So we have all these mineral deals, etc. It's about power. We have this is some EMF says US economy slowing down, but doesn't forecast a recession, so we can see some slowdown in the global economies. And also I'm gonna see here, Putin are telling Musk that they can provide a little nuclear facility for SpaceX. So the global dealing here are on full steam, and we will see what happens with the whole Putin situation and how the peace deal are going in Ukraine. But obviously this is affecting the stock market at the moment. We have a lot of products being produced in Ukraine, for example. So if the war can stop, we will see a positive effect both on inflation, on food prices, etc. So that is something we want. So yeah, Besant are saying Ukraine might during next week sign a deal. So yeah, we will see what happens there. We can also see that you know, the classic restaurant chain Hooters, they are getting bust, but the plan for Hooters in the future is to make it more family friendly. So that was kind of an interesting news. And yeah, that's also very interesting news from yesterday was that the BYD are outselling Tesla at the moment and are accelerating in the electric vehicle space. So we are seeing fierce competition there also, not just in the AI space, but China are actually doing quite well in the car space also. So before, we haven't really seen China as something with quality. It just has been like, you know, the type of cheap clothes, etc. But now they are slowly getting traction. So this type of race between especially USA and China are getting tense. So this is like the take I would say is the most interesting at the moment. We are about a month away from the big earnings season, so that is something you should prepare for. Usually when earnings season drop, you know, when Meta are presenting the quarterly earnings, Microsoft, Apple, etc., the stocks are probably already up. and after earnings they are usually going sideways or down, so just prepare before earnings if you believe in your company, if you have read any great news. For example, AMD, they have the news of the graphic card launch that has been very great. They went from like 15% to 45-50% of the graphic card market in Japan, for example. So if you have some kind of information in the companies you invest in that that will probably affect the earnings more positively than Wall Street has evaluated, you maybe should put your money into your company a bit before earnings season. But obviously there are a lot of things happening in the world right now, so just be careful, do your own due diligence before you invest, and as I always said, you are responsible for your investment. I'm just here doing a YouTube show talking about things I love. I am not your financial advisor that in terms of taking responsibility for investment. You have to do your own due diligence, etc. So that's that. I'm really looking forward to this next earnings season. We have had a couple of boring months here, so just see how the companies are managing this whole situation here, and just positioning us before the summer months, doing our long-term view of where we want to be. That's the next thing, and I'm getting ready and tensed for that, and I'm gonna reevaluate my portfolio also to see where are we heading. Is it any in the macroeconomics like we talked about today that will maybe change what I feel about the current portfolio I have, and you guys should do the same, even though you should not twist and turn too much in your portfolio just based on day-to-day news, but the long-term trends and the cultural shifts are always interesting and important to break down, I would say. So anyway, big thank you for today. Yes, let's listen to this outro song here, and we will see each other next time. Hopefully you enjoy spending time with me. I appreciate that you're listening, especially if you listened the whole time, the whole video.